What is up, you guys? The Fallout with here, and today I'm doing the what if Deku was the reincarnation of Vegeta? Now, sorry I haven't done anything. I had to spend family time for the past basically week or so. Uh, it was fun. I got to spend time with my nephew a little bit more, and we got to eat a lot of food. And we went places. We went downtown and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, it wasn't as boring, but it wasn't my cup of tea. Gotta admit, didn't like it too much. But now that I'm back, here we go. If you like the video, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here. And not only that, uh, yeah, just hit the notifications so that way you guys can watch when I upload. Now, where we last left off, Deku found out he was Vegeta, and basically he learned he learned that he got stronger over the 10-month period. Now, he did a lot of training, but it wasn't at Daguba Beach, where he trained with a couple of people, such as Kirishima and Ojiro. Now, if I didn't say this, Ojiro and Kendo trained with him. Now they're not even they're not strong as Vegeta, but with Deku gaining a little bit. I'm not saying it was like a small Zenkai boost of at least 3%. He is, if I have to say it, the way I'm putting it right now, he is as strong as Deku when he learned full Cowling. When he started to learn full Cowling and all that stuff. That puts him at a good level for the beginning. But we're not going to go to the just beginning. We're going to go to the beyond of it all, such as Deku learning Deku learning a bit of the Kaioken. Now, you guys may be wondering again, why the Kaioken? Well, the Kaioken basically increases the power, and since, like I said before, he's not going to be 100% full Saiyan, he at least learned different things through his lifetime, so that way just didn't use his power, but powers that could help him out. This was during the time uh, where Vegeta learned that if ever he needs power, he has reserves for it. So Vegeta played it smart instead of Kakarot just trying to wing it. Oh yeah, not only that, uh, he doesn't accept the offer from All Might, to turn into a freak, to use, that ability, or not the ability. He doesn't accept one for all because he says he's gonna train on his own. And even though he offered all Might offered, he decided that, well, not to do it. Now, while going at this whole point, well, we get to the whole USJ, not the USJ, the UA entrance exam, where he's just sitting there. And if I forgot to mention, Bakugo's gonna be next by him, and Deku's just sitting there. Now, he is still the same way at some points. Mentally, he is kind of a nerd. He kind of thinks still, but in this, he's not truly nervous. At first, he should have been. I mean, it kind of just he stopped doing that over time, and he talks to Vegeta inside of his mind. He tells Vegeta what else does he do? Vegeta tells him not to worry and to just focus and do what they say. And this is when he says that he basically tells Vegeta in his mind says that he is basically the weakest version of him So much so that Dirt would possibly be stronger than him. But he said that's all right. That he is going to train him and mold him into turning into one of the strongest again. He may not be as strong as Vegeta when he was a Saiyan, but at least enough to where he approves of it. He's willing to try to be as strong as a Super Saiyan God. But Jakku says, "How am I supposed to do that with you? Like I don't even know anything about Ki as well as you think. All I just knew was that I was focusing, and something just came out of my hand, and a big purple attack just came out." Vegeta explains it was the final flash, and he explains that partially his memories are still not there, but at least a good amount of it to where he's not freaked out. So yeah, pretty much that's all it. He is going to learn how to use different powers. By the way, during the 10 months of training, he's actually gotten more stronger. So he is as strong as Deku when he trained. He is if I forgot to mention it. He is as strong as Deku in the beginning. In the beginning, he's as strong as Deku when he's full Cowling, and this one he is twice as strong. So pretty much he's learned at least a good 10 to 12%. And since I don't have power scaling, since everybody likes doing that, he is a good 400. Just letting that out there. Most people have it around 3 to 200. That's pushing it. So he goes in there. He sits next by Bakugo. Bakugo is kind of like freaking out because he's like trying to get Isuku's attention. Ida steps in, and he pretty much, he's pretty much of a douche. He's pretty much being douchey to Deku and to Bakugo, and Bakugo was going to stop him, but Deku looks at him and tells him to screw off, that he has no time for this, and to pay attention instead of paying attention to us. Ida doesn't like this, but tells him that a couple of failing students is not going to, you know, it's not going to impede everything that he's worked for, and that they'll be lucky enough to be in E class or an F class. So this is when Deku starts smirking a bit, and he says, I'm going to be in class 1A and be the strong and basically be the first number one student." This is when Ida says, "There is no way that you can do that," and Deku starts grinning. Now Bakugo doesn't see this. Oh, she saw it, but she hasn't seen this kind of Deku at all. I mean, she saw him once when he was strong, like she saw and remember what he did. But to have an attitude adjustment, she's thinking to herself, "What have you been doing this whole time while I was gone? Or while you were gone?" And this is when Deku just sits back down. They do the whole thing with the 0 pointer and all that stuff and the 1 pointer. So when they all go into the arena in the starting position, he looks at Uraraka and basically starts walking to her. And this is when Vegeta tells him that someone behind him is gonna attack him. He sees that it's Ida trying to grab him. Ida says, "How did you know I was behind you?" And why? Oh, what's it called? He was shocked that out of everybody, he sensed that he knew somebody was about to touch him, which was kind of weird and off-putting. But It's Deku. Vegeta Deku. Vadeku. Now, uh, Deku goes and tells him to not touch him, that he's gonna have to do something right now, and it's not like they're not gonna fight here, but nothing you do right now is going to stop me. So he looks at Deku, and Deku's basically telling Uraraka to be calm and to get over it, and just to focus on the challenge ahead of him, ahead of herself, and whatever she does, or whatever she does in the end, to not feel discouraged. This is when Vegeta says, "Okay, so what are you supposed we do now? Now that you're right there, you're in the front, or at least closest to the front, and not only that, I can pretty much tell that this is going to be a simulation to where it's going to be all battle." And this is when Deku says, "Yes, Mr. Vegeta." And this is when he says, "Please, just call me Vegeta. We're technically the same, you and I, even though, you're lacking in the strength department or in smarts department." And Izuku says, "I learned pretty much about a lot more than I did in the past. Meaning that I learned that there's aliens around there, and that there was this one weird creature that wiped out our entire race." This is when this is when he says, "Oh, so now you remember Frieza? Yeah, that slimy bastard." And this is when he hears three, two, one, go. And this is when he says, "This is no time to think. Just start running now." And Izuku's just started running and running. And this is when he's starting to jump. Pretty much just grabs on something and jumps again. Grabs on something and jumps again. And this is when Vegeta says, "Okay, so what are you doing now?" And this is when Izuku says, "I got the power. I know that I can fly, but I'm not really good at it yet." This is when Vegeta says, "After all this time, you forget that you forget how to move around in flight." And Izuku says, "Well, right now I'm trying to concentrate, but when I fly, it just messes me up." He says, "I know this messes you up. I've been in your, I've seen what you're doing this whole time. Fly, but then after that, try to stop." And Izuku says, "All right." And this is when he just flies and he goes like it's just like a burst of energy, which pushes back at least a good 10 students backwards a bit. And this is when he just sees a creature and just headbutts it. Pretty much how Goku did to well, what Goku did to Piccolo or King Piccolo. And Deku, "Okay, so we've done that now." And Vegeta says, "You did not just do that. Training this whole time into fighting, and your first attack was a headbutt? I know that for some reason, the clown that I remember back then, rubbed this off on me, and now you're doing it too. I will not be shamed by this. Learn, fix your attitude, fix the way you are right now, and fight them." And Izuku says, "All right, all right." And this is when he just starts running and actually performing a bunch of martial arts movements. Now, when that happens, give me a second here, people. And all right, so now that I'm back, Zaku starts basically combat these robots, taking out some of them more faster than the others, as per usual. But with now somehow getting more advice with Vegeta on actually how to battle, since he's been pretty much doing strength training. He didn't actually do combat training. And since these are robots, he's gonna learn now or never, and pretty much destroying them bit by bit, and somewhat bringing them in a bringing them in a small crowd and finishing them off with a lot of ki blast. Now, while this is good and all, Vegeta Vegeta tells him that there's some creature there that is way too big for right now, and that he should just pretty much go away for right now, since even though he could do a lot of ki blasts and stuff, causing all this, if the creature causes damage, it could kill the other. It could actually either injure or kill the students. And he also says, even though these people shouldn't even be here, since they're not that strong, there's no point. But we live in a society where this is going to happen, so we might as well take care of them as well. And Izuku does help out some people, earning them a good amount of hero points. But when the zero pointers started to show up, he sees that Uraraka was right there, as per usual, and that she is stuck. And this is when he was scared for a second, and until Vegeta says, "Go get her now." And Izuku says, "But you told me to go. This is still a person. Sometimes you can't just listen to me. You have to listen to your instincts. You're gonna have to listen to what you can do. I was like you once, just not caring about others. And I was scared too, just like you are right now. But I've grown past that. And you should too." And this is when he tells Vegeta, "So what should he do?" And this is when he says, he's about to be too close." And he says, "Boy, put your hands on your sides." And this is when he says, "Okay, now, uh, now start, doing the T pose." And this is when he says, "Okay, spread your legs." And he says, "Okay, now." And he starts doing it. "Okay, I got you." And this is when he says, "Wait a minute, I think I know what you're trying to do." And he says, "Now, show me what you can do now." And this is when he starts putting his hands together. He starts widen his hands, and energy starts to pour into this. And we all know what this is. And people are looking at what Izuku's doing, and he starts to put his hands closer together, and he starts seeing. People start seeing this yellow flash of energy. And this is when Izuku remembers exactly what to do, and he says, "Final." And then all you hear is a roar of flash. And while this is happening, not huge, but at least big enough to cause the good, probably as it would be as big as two 18 wheelers, just hitting the zero pointer square in the center of his chest, and the zero pointer basically just stops moving. And he sees that it's about to start tipping over, and Izuku, with his just going full on ham on, starts running like hell towards Uraraka. He grabs her and then starts running with her, saying, "Are you okay?" And she says, "How?" And Izuku says, "I know a couple of people, and I did some training." And this is when Uraraka says, "That's amazing." And Izuku says, "Why, thank you." And after that, pretty much the zero pointer fell, but it starts moving again. And Izuku basically tells him to do another move. And Izuku says, "What kind of move?" And he says, "Do the Big Bang attack." And he says, "Okay, if I remember correctly, put your hand out. You gotta put your hand out, and then concentrate on a big ball of energy." And this is when he says, "Isn't this kind of like the Rasengan from Naruto?" And he says, "Shut up." And this is when he says, "Big Bang attack." And well, yeah, that's what happens. A huge amount of the Big Bang attack happens, and just basically obliterates pretty much the head and shoulders of the creature, causing it to actually die now. So after that, Izuku, after the 2 week period where he starts to learn more about combat training, hears that he's now placed in the UA in UA. Now after all this, we get to basically him celebrating and Bakugo coming back. And this is when he's he sees Kirishima. Now, I haven't stated, I think I've stated before, whether Kirishima is a girl or not. If you guys want her to be Kirishima to be a girl and to go out with Deku, so this could be like a Kiri, Deku, uh, Izokiri Bakugo kind of thing. Like a three-way ship. Just comment down below. But he sees Kirishima sees Bakugo, and Bakugo sees Kirishima. They exchange pleasantries, and this is when he says, "Where's Deku?" And Kirishima explains that Deku's there on the other side with the other with the rest of the people. So Kirishima lets her in, and this is when she marches up to Izuku and basically grabs Izuku and tells her to come over here. And this is when he says, Izuku, why haven't you texted me? Why haven't you tried calling me? Why haven't you tried doing anything? Izuku says, how is your day, Baki? Oh, she says, don't give me that crap, Izuku. Do you know how much I wanted to see you again? And Izuku says, you wanted to see me, so I do not know what to say. Why didn't you come text me? Why didn't you think to talk to me? And Izuku says, I was busy. I had a lot of important things to do. And then she says, oh, so I'm not important. And Izuku says, you are important. And she says, well, why didn't you make an effort to talk to me? And Izuku says, why didn't you make an effort to talk to me too? And this is when she says, because I I wanted you to talk to me first. Izuku says, what do you mean? I wanted you to talk to me. I tried texting you, but you had a new phone. I tried finding where you were at. I tried to find you on social media. I tried doing everything. All I knew was that you went to that school, and new school, and well, yeah. The only time I saw you was over there when you saved me. We could have talked a little bit more, but no, you decide to leave again. And Izuki says, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Look, I didn't. It wasn't my intention to do that to you." And she says, "So why was it that now you're here?" And Izuki says, "Well, it's because I chose to be back. Now I'm just gonna be here now. I hope you're okay with that." And she says, "Just, did you get accepted to UA?" Izuku says, "Yeah. You're gonna be shocked tomorrow." And this is when she says, "Why?" And he says, "You'll find that out tomorrow." She says, "Whatever, Izuku." And while walking away, she says, "It's good to have you back." And this is when she goes back home. She goes and talk. She basically says, "I'm home" and all that stuff. She's gonna go to her room. She puts a pillow into her face and screams out that Izuku is so freaking cute. And not only that, she's happy to have him back. Even though she was a little pissed that Izuku wasn't there, Izuku ended up, just saying goodbye. Now, after all that, they go to school, and pretty much the whole class does the whole, not the entry exam, the quirk evaluation test. Izuku pretty much passed all of them, side to side. The freaking jump test. He flew, so technically that's infinity. The what's the word? I don't know actually. I forgot what I was supposed to say, but Izuku does the ball test. He does good in that. Does really well in that. So when the heroes versus villains thing happens, he goes and he turns to well, anybody wants to be his partner, and nobody wants to be his partner. Well, technically, a lot of people want to be his partner, but the one person he decides to go with was with Bakugo. Now Bakugo says, "Whoa, what am I doing? I mean, like, why am I teaming up with him?" She actually wanted to fight Izuku, but this is when they said, "I decided since you weren't going to be partners with anyone because of your cheery personality." This is when she looks at. This is when Bakugo looks at Aizawa and says, "I will kill you." And this is when basically it's Deku and Bakugo versus Ida and Todoroki. That's a weird pair, but those two, they basically do that, and they start running towards. Well, Izuku pretty much just walks because he knows he could just beat them. He doesn't know how he's gonna, who he's gonna fight. But Bakugo's right there saying that she's gonna take them down, saying basically they're the villain squad. The villain squad? Yeah, they're the team. They're the villains, and the other ones are the heroes. Bakugo starts to. Well, at first he decides to chill everything, but with Bakugo exploding the ice, and with Izuku strong, with his strength, he can just pretty much walk, even though it has ice on it. Bakugo decides, not Bakugo, Todoroki and Ida decide to go. Actually, having Ida be the be the person that's using his legs, and with Todoroki using his ice, they pretty much just slide all the way over there. And this is when Bakugo encounters Todoroki, and Todoroki encounters, well, Todoroki, Bakugo, Todoroki. These two start fighting. Now, while these two are fighting, Ida slips past and sees Izuku. And Izuku says, "Oh, hey, what's your name again?" And this is when Ida says, "Laugh all you want. I can't believe you actually uh, you got in first place." And Izuku says, "I can't believe that you can't believe that." And this is when Ida says, "Why? Why do you think I was gonna think otherwise?" And shit, sorry about that. And Deku thinks, well, Deku says, "Well, because I'm stronger than you and more powerful than you." This is when Ida says, "I learned a lot of fighting styles with kicking, and I know what you did to that zero pointer, but that doesn't mean you can actually do the same to me." And this is when Izuku says, "Do you want to try that with me, Ida?" And this is when Ida says, "Enough talk." And this is when he starts using his legs and just starts blitzing Izuku, trying to actually kick him a lot. But this is when Izuku's just blocking them, or pretty much just stepping away from his attacks. This is when Ida says, "Why are you doing that?" And Deku says, "Well, it's because you're what's the word? Not strong enough to be dealt with as a threat." Ida's hating what says, but he knows that he's possibly not as strong as Izuku. He's probably not stronger than Izuku at all. And this is when he says, "You know what? This kick was going to determine whether what's it called whether you're somebody who I can like or hate." And this is when he says, "What are you talking about now? This is supposed to be a fight. I'm the villain. You're the good guy. You're not supposed to talk to me and tell me whether you like me or not." And Ida just starts getting embarrassed because some of the students are just starting to laugh at him, saying that he does have a point. And this is when Ida starts running towards him and just does a kick. And this kick actually basically has Izuku. Well, he moves out of the way, saying, "How long are you going to keep attacking me?" And this is when he sees that Ida's not there anymore, and Izuku was just like closing his eyes and just bored with it, kind of like a cliche anime fighter, where they're just so bored they just sigh and just like, why do you even bother? This is when he sees Ida's gone. He's like, "Oh crap," and just starts running after him. This is when Ida just says, "My plan worked," and he says, at least he can beat Izuku, knowing that Izuku is not going to beat him in this time. This is when Izuku says, "Wrong again," and he just does a sucker punch right into Ida's stomach. And Ida says, "How?" And Ida said, Bakugo said, "Nah, shit." Izuku says, "Well, let's just say I have a lot of training." And this is when he just throws him out the window, causing him to land into the dumpsters. Now, Bakugo is pretty much using the explosions, and this is when Izuku remembers, "Oh crap, I forgot there's the other one." And he just starts running and then running and running, seeing Todoroki. And this is when Todoroki sees this, but when he starts shooting ice at Izuku, Izuku is just he's not there. Pretty much the whole hallway has ice in it now, and Izuku is behind him, actually using an after image, and he grabs Izuku's no, he grabs Todoroki's face and just starts running towards the ice, actually causing Todoroki to just like flail a bit and just pretty much beaten, and him actually knocked out, causing those two to win. Bakugo was actually excited at the fact that Izuku did that, not knowing that Izuku was just super strong, but super fast too. And this is when she's like, "I know I've seen this already, but the fact that he's still doing it just baffles me." And it's so amazing on how he does this. And she forgets that she has a crush on him. So Izuku pretty much says, "All right, Bakugo, we won, so yay." So they win, and not only that, these two are going to these two are going to talk for a while. Izuku's class president, and Izuku basically hears Vegeta says, "I am Iwarizuku, and you're going to be the what? It's not vice principal. Uh, you're going to be the president of the heroes. President of the school of heroes." This is when he says, we'll work on the name, but now that you actually beat them, you're gonna have to, you're gonna have some new armor." And Izuku actually has new armor. He actually has battle attire, such as
not gauntlets, but they're protection for his wrists. Not only that, he has protection on his legs. He has not spandex. He actually has actually has pants, and not only that, he has a T-shirt that has on technically on his body. It has pieces of actually has like padding on it for protection. So that way, when he fights, he doesn't actually get hurt. And he says since he knows that Izuku's not going to be indestructible, so he might as well have some kind of set of clothing that will protect him. That's where I'm going to leave it off here. Hopefully you guys like it. I'm going to do a new video. I don't know, but this might be a video that you guys might like. So hopefully you do. And this is the Fallout with a few here. Bye.